Iram of the Pillars, also called Aram, Iram, Irem, Aram, or the City of the Tent Poles, is a reference to a lost city, a country or an area mentioned in the Quran. Introduction. The Quran mentions Iram in connection with pillars. Quran. The Dawn 89-7. The Quran, chapter 89, verse 6-14. 6. Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with Aad 7, with Iram, who had lofty pillars, the likes of whom had never been created in the lands? 9. And with Thamud, who carved out the rocks in the valley. 10. And with Pharaoh, owner of the stakes. 11. All of whom oppressed within the land. 12. And increased therein the corruption. 13. So your Lord poured upon them a scourge of punishment. 14. Indeed, your Lord is in observation. Translated by There are several explanations for the reference to Iram, who had lofty pillars. Some see this as a geographic location, either a city or an area, others as the name of a tribe. Those identifying it as a city have made various suggestions as to where or what city it was, ranging from Alexandria or Damascus to a city which actually moved, or a city called Uba. As an area, it has been identified with the biblical Aram, son of Shem, and the biblical region known as Aram. It has also been identified as a tribe, possibly the tribe of Ad, with the pillars referring to tent pillars. The identification of Wadi Rum with Iram and the tribe of Ad, mentioned in the Quran, has been proposed by scholars who have translated Thamudis and Nabatean inscriptions referring to both the place Iram and the tribes of Adan, Thamud by name. According to some Islamic beliefs, King Shaddad defied the warnings of the Prophet Hud, and God smote the city, driving it into the sands, never to be seen again. The ruins of the city lie buried somewhere in the sands of the Rub al-Khali. Iram became known to Western literature with the translation of the Book of 1001 Nights, suggested identification with Uba. In the early 1990s, a team led by amateur archaeologist and filmmaker Nicholas Clapp and adventurer and Ulf Fiennes, archaeologist Joris Zarens and lawyer George Hedges announced that they had found Uba. Initially, NASA satellite photographs guided the team to a well-known, and previously identified waterhole at Shisr in Dhofar province. However, excavations of the site uncovered a large octagonal fort with 10-foot-high walls and 8 tall towers on the corners. A large portion of the fortress was destroyed when it collapsed into a sinkhole, thus germinating a legend amongst the superstitious tribes of the area. In fiction, Literature in Weave World, by Clive Barker, one of the antagonists visits the empty quarter and finds what is presumably the magically restored ruins of Iram. Iram is the theme of Daniel Easterman's novel The Seventh Sanctuary. Uba is mentioned in Chapter 7 of Neil Gaiman's American Gods. It is mentioned by a cab driver, Ifrit, as the perished ancient city, and by Selim, a recent arrival to the U.S. from Oman, as the lost city of towers that was allegedly found in a recent archaeological excavation. Iram is used in Quatrain 5 of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam to describe the brevity of human endeavors. H.P. Lovecraft places it somewhere near the nameless city in his stories. In The Call of Cthulhu, it is the supposed base of the Cthulhu cult. Sean McMullen's story, The Measure of Eternity, is set in Uba, describing it as the wealthiest city on Earth. James Rollin's novel Sandstorm depicts Uba as an underground city in a glass bubble with a lake of antimatter at the middle. The city, which was created as the result of a meteorite impact 20,000 years ago, is destroyed and becomes a massive lake known as Lake Eden. Iram is the lost city where the Muslim hero Thalaba was kept safe in Robert Southey's Thalaba the Destroyer. Uba appears in Josephine T's mystery novel The Singing Sands, in which Detective Alan Grant seeks to unravel the meaning of a strange poem found on the body of a young man. Uba is one possible subject of the poem. Video games. In the video game Uncharted 3, Drake's deception. It is postulated that Sir Francis Drake made a detour here during his circumnavigation of the world and covered up all evidence of his voyage and the accursed lost city of Uber, until hero Nathan Drake and an evil, shadowy secret society rediscover the city 500 years later. In the video game Sunless Sea, a creation of Fail Better Games, Iram was somehow brought into the vast cavern beneath the earth where the game is set, and can be visited and explored by the protagonist. Its characteristic pillars are present in great quantity, and it maintains the warmth of its original environment even far from the sun. In the video game Fallout 4, Uber is mentioned in the Journal of Lorenzo Cabot. He describes his journey to what he believes to be Uber, tabletop role-playing games in the New World of Darkness limited gameline, Mummy: The Curse, published by White Wolf Game Studios. Onyx Path, IREM, is the Stone Age city where the game's protagonists, the Arisen, were created. In the classic World of Darkness gameline, specifically Vampire: The Masquerade, Uber is believed by some to be the first city, Enoch, where the first vampire, Cain, became king over the mortals residing in the city. It is also here where he made his first progeny, the second generation, and where they created their progeny, the Antediluvians. Music: the Middle Eastern-themed folk metal band Eternum features a track called Iram of the Pillars in their album, Moon God. The Slovak avant-garde black metal band Remarath features a track called Iram of the Pillars in the album Sham Hala Vril. Sources: